All right, let's just pause for a second and focus in on one single day, March 7th, 2026. Because when you do that, when you look at what's happening all at once, you see a world that's, well, it's being pulled in two totally different directions.
You've got these brutal, escalating conflicts that are just spiraling, pulling in more countries and creating incredible human suffering. And then, at the very same time, you have the absolute peak of elite sports, where national pride is being fought for on a totally different kind of battlefield. It's this incredible clash of new front lines and final showdowns. And we've got to start where things are most intense. We're talking about the Middle East, where a conflict that's been bubbling under the surface has just exploded. People are already calling it a new war, and it's literally reshaping the entire region in, like, a matter of days.
The speed of this whole thing is, wow, it's just staggering. I mean, think about it. In just 7 days, this went from a targeted conflict to a full-blown regional war. And it's not just anyone involved. It's Israel, the United States, and Iran. All of it kicked off by the killing of Iran's supreme leader.
And the human cost? It's just hard to wrap your head around. Take Lebanon, for instance. Hezbollah is officially in the fight now, and in response, Israel has told over 800,000 people, 800,000, to get out of southern Lebanon and the suburbs of Beirut. That's a pretty clear signal, right? A major ground invasion feels like it's just around the corner.
At the same time, over in Iran, the American and Israeli strikes have been absolutely relentless. Iran's own envoy to the UN is saying the civilian death toll is already over 1,300. And these aren't just in one place. We're talking about strikes hitting 26 different provinces. So yeah, any idea of this being contained is out the window. Now you've got Saudi and Qatari forces actively shooting down missiles and drones coming out of Iran. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important shipping lanes in the world, is basically a no-go zone for U.S. and Israeli ships. And out on the water, things have already gotten deadly. A U.S. sub just sank an Iranian warship. All 83 sailors on board were killed.
And if you want to understand just how high the tension is, listen to this. Iran's deputy foreign minister came right out and said it. Any nation, and he specifically called out European countries, that helps the U.S. or Israel will become a legitimate target. Just think about that for a second. The implications are absolutely enormous.
Okay, so while all of that is exploding in the Middle East, let's shift our focus to another front line. Because the war in Ukraine, it just passed the 4-year mark. And at this point, it's just a brutal, grinding stalemate that has cost so many lives.
And here's the thing. These two wars aren't happening in separate bubbles. They're connected. Those Patriot missile systems, the ones that are absolutely crucial for protecting Ukrainian cities, well, they're now being sent over to the Gulf instead. This is creating what's being called an air defense squeeze, and it's leaving cities like Kharkiv and Odessa wide open to Russian attacks.
When you just lay out the numbers, the human cost it's just staggering. Almost 1 million people forced from their homes in Lebanon, more than 1,300 civilians killed in Iran, and an estimated 2 million total casualties in Ukraine. That's the reality. The immense suffering that's the backdrop to this one single day we're looking at.
Okay, so while the world is dealing with all of that, these huge life and death struggles, something else is happening that has millions of people completely captivated. Let's do a hard pivot now, from the front lines of war to the final showdown of the T20 World Cup. We're talking cricket's biggest, fastest global championship. It's a totally different kind of fight for sure, but believe me, there's just as much passion and national pride on the line.
So the final is tomorrow, and what a matchup we have. On one side, you've got India. They're the defending champs, they're playing at home, and they're trying to make history, to be the first team ever to win 3 T20 World Cups. And who are they playing? New Zealand, a team that has come so close so many times, and they're just desperate to finally get their first ever title.
And let me tell you, the journey to get to this final, it has been absolutely incredible. Both of the semifinalists were just electric. We're talking records being shattered, unbelievable drama. Cricket fans everywhere are still buzzing about it.
I mean, just look at some of these numbers from the semis. They're insane. The India versus England game had a combined score of 499 runs. That's not a cricket match, that's a run fest. And then you have New Zealand's Finn Allen hitting a century in just 33 balls. That's the kind of wild, explosive action we've been seeing this whole tournament.
All right, so let's go from that international stage and zoom in on some domestic action. We're talking about the Indian Super League, India's top professional football league. And just like in the cricket, the competition here is absolutely fierce, and the race for that top spot is getting really interesting.
And when I say tight, I mean tight. Look at the top of the table. You've got two teams, Mohan Bagan and Jamshedpur, and they both have perfect records. 4 games played, 4 wins. They're neck and neck on points with only goal difference keeping them apart. You just can't have a better start than that.
But here's the question. Is the real fight even happening on the field? Because while the players are battling it out, there's a huge fight brewing behind the scenes, and this one could change the future of the whole league.
And this isn't some small disagreement. We're talking about the vast majority of clubs here. 12 out of 14 have actually sent a formal letter to the Football Federation. And they're raising some serious concerns, about the league's money situation and a lack of transparency in how decisions are made. And then to throw some more drama on the fire, the team that's currently in first place, Mohun Bagan, they're banned from all Asian competitions for the next few years. So they can be the best team in India, but they can't even play abroad.
So let's just pull the camera back for a second and look at the big picture of this one day, March 7th, 2026. What have we seen? We've seen these massive geopolitical front lines expanding, and at the exact same moment, the absolute pinnacle of sports competition is playing out. And it kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? Are these two things, this raw, brutal conflict, and this highly organized competition, are they just two sides of the same human coin? I mean, when you think about it, they're both driven by loyalty, by strategy, and by this incredibly powerful desire to win. It's just something to chew on, watching these two completely different worlds play out right next to each other.